I Q I W A
IQI
Australia, it's been a while since we've seen you.
You've been stuck at home all this time.
So we reckon you deserve a holiday.
You deserve to stretch your legs.
You deserve a little sun and fun.
You deserve some chill time.
A bit of thrill time.
A bit of you time.
Australia, you deserve to play through.
You deserve a long lunch.
You deserve to sleep in.
You deserve to hang out. Woo! You deserve a drink.
Or two. Australia, you deserve some playtime.
Sorry, I was mute. Hello, everyone. Good evenings. Welcome to IQI WA Friday Pro Talks. My name is Lily. I'm the director of IQI Australia, and I'm your host for these evenings. Lian being lazy. Nah, just kidding. Lian actually have a special occasion, so she cannot turn up this evening, so I will be the host. If you have not crossed path with IQI actually stands for International Quality Investments. We are Australia-based sales and marketing real estate agency specialized in off-the-plan apartments project sale, as well as brand new house and land package, and of course, new houses. IQI is the one of the largest international real estate network in Southeast Asia, Middle East, and also North America regions with more than 15,000 agents across 17 countries. Our aim is to empower buyers to become global residents and transform buyers to international investors. For developers or the 17 offices from around the world, we are all well connected and we can market and sell property cross-border. As for our IQI customers, you will be serviced by both the local team as well as the global teams. Okay, I will keep the introductions of IQI short. If you would like to find out more about IQI service, leave us a message in below or private message us, and one of our friendly teams member will be in touch with you. So this evening, we are so privileged to have a special speakers all the way from Queensland with us, the Managing Director of Homestead Group, Nicole Thames. Okay, let me have a quick introduction. Homestead Group is a multifunctional company that provides property investments, immigrations, and education service globally with its head office based in Brisbane, Queensland. They help people around the world to find their dream homes, investment properties, relocate, and enroll them to their desired education institutions as well. Nicole has been in the industry for over 15 years old, even she doesn't look like. She has a great knowledge and experience in sourcing and developing property. I know her since the time I was a sales rep myself, and I remember, right, I have attended her seminar in the first week of my career in this industry. She inspired me a lot during the talk, and she always my idols, right, in this industry. Like, wow, more than 10 years. Okay, Nicole is going to bring us and explore the upcoming Olympic City Gold Coast. It is she will talk about the property market growth and also the insight for one of the most sought after developments. So I will not go into like too much of detail. I will let Nicole to share and excite you, just like what she has done to me. Over to you, Nicole. Thanks.
Thank you, Lily. Hello, everyone. I still remember the time that I met you. So it was every time we talk about how long that has been, it sort of shows the age, but all good. We're still looking young every day, younger every day. Okay, so without further ado, thank you for the introduction, Lily. So today's topic is about, I think a lot of people will see from international news about the Olympic 2032, that people are talking about Olympic City being Brisbane or Gold Coast. So for people that understanding about Australia, whereabouts is Brisbane and Gold Coast? It's in the state of Queensland. What I'm going to share with everyone is the market driver. Why is it that people is looking into this state now, and internationally, and not only that, domestically? The market here is really, really hot at the moment. I think the star has aligned. For IQI and myself, that we are inspiring and wanting to ensure that we inspire international residents to invest into different countries. We have to study into different project, different location, not just about Australia. So the first half of my presentation will be based on the whole global view, and then funnel down to Australia, to Queensland. And then the second part of the presentation will be a project that I think it's really sought after, that I like to discuss with everyone. So without further ado, what we will do is we'll share the screen, and we'll start here. Okay, I might just do that. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to discuss today, I also still have the disclaimer here. So what we're going to discuss today, there's going to be some numbers we're going to discuss and going through. So none of these numbers are specific to individuals' need, but it's more for general information to use. Now, here is a little profile about myself that I believe a majority of has been introduced by Lily. What is probably more significant here is that myself is also a property investor, and my journey in investing property is from Hong Kong, but I am actually from Taiwan. And then being migrated to Australia back in 1989. So it's a very long time. I've seen the growth of Australia. I've seen the city that I live in changing and evolve. And the passion that I have for property is like everyone here tonight. And then the other thing is probably in the past 10 years, as what Lily was saying, one of my part of things that I do a lot is seminars and education, empowering people to understanding what property investment can do for yourself and generations to come. All right. So I think first of all is a hot topic, maybe not so hot anymore because everyone, and we've heard enough throughout 2020 and still going on in 2021. But I think it's important for us to see what does that mean about stars being aligned. So if we're talking about globally, this is a COVID-19 international impact. And still 2021 in February, this is the case number the whole global is looking at. So it's a reason to be cautiously optimistic. So it looks like it's going to reduce and has been reducing. But what does that mean? And what has happened? If we have a foresight, obviously, that's what we're trying to do. And that's why there's a lot of forecast. But then in hindsight, it's a really good time for us to look at how people react. So let's say go back to the time last year, about January, when things are starting to break out. The global growth are expected to increase. Still at that time, we're thinking, oh yeah, maybe this is gonna be okay. It's just like other pandemic, it will go. It's not even a pandemic yet. But then we get so uncertain to about April. So for our international viewer today, in Australia, we didn't actually feel how bad this virus could be until about end of March. So if you look at the forecast at that time, back in April last year, the global growth is forecast to be a -3%. And then people are thinking it's worse than GFC. And then people are thinking by 2021, we will then bounce back and then the growth will be about 5.8%. Now, and then come to about, and that's when Australia went into lockdown for about 2 months' time for Queensland. Now, coming back to June, then people starting to understanding what kind of virus it is and how is it going to be contagious and things like that. So still, people are still thinking, oh no, we started to realize, okay, the international traveling won't happen. We started to, the reality really starting to hit home, but then we still don't know how long it's going to be. So then the forecast then go down to about 4.9%. And then we still have a thinking that 2021 will be a V-shaped rebound. And then by October 2020, we are thinking, well, it's not going to be that we know how to contain the virus. And in fact, there is already vaccination that are available and start talking about this whole thing. So we become more optimistic. So we're thinking about the minus 3.3%. And then the V bounce back is 6% for 2021. Now, only about 2 months ago in January, with whatever the uncertainty that we still have, it is now projected that we will have a growth of 5.5% in 2021, and then even further in 2022. Now, let's look at what actually happened. So it's amazing to look at this, that if we can refer everyone to the right-hand side of the map. So when we say advanced economy, so really talking to certain United States, European countries, Japan, United Kingdom, it's very interesting to see what actually happened, the GDP minus and what that will mean. But then if you're looking at the emerging market, so if I could just go to my next, I've highlighted here. So in the emerging market that including China, India, so ASEAN 5, that includes Australia as well. And if you look at our numbers here, not only we have a lesser impact on the real GDP last year, we actually looking at a much better growth around about the 5.2 GDP to about 6% for next year. So really the employment will lift, particularly in resources rich states. Now, so that is a very good takeaway for us from the numbers point of view of actually what the GDP has become. Now, this is a slide that I use quite often throughout last year as well. So people are studying and thinking, well, because I think the pandemic or the COVID has changed the people's priority, changed the way we do things, changed the way we're thinking about what's important in life. So all of a sudden, health become more health conscious. Family become very important because we don't get to see them as often anymore. So people are starting talking about if this to happen again in the human history, then what would be a safe place to be? Obviously, I think on the right hand side you can see like a big island. So Australia is top on the map because we're so isolated in a way that we can actually close the border. And then let's look at, so all with this COVID situation that's squared away, and then that's one thing. That's why a lot of people are putting the microscope into Australia as a whole. And then I'm going to slowly go into my presentation, the next 2-3 slides, to then break down into different states. What does that mean for Australia? And even for people within Australia, what do we see? And what does local people taking on the opportunity? Now, this slide here shows the Australian dollar. So for a lot of people thinking, well, Australian dollar, so if you look at back in 2010, 2012 and 13. So just to, okay, let's go back a little bit. Before 2010, the map here have a big, deep V. So you can see that that's probably around about the 2007 to 2008. That's pretty much when the Lehman Brothers situation hits. That's where the GFC happens. So you see the whole Australian dollar drop. Now with the economy recovers and everything else going on together in line. So a lot of things are following one another. And you can see a pattern. And it goes back to about 2011 and 12 when the local market become peaking to the property as well and many things as well. You see the Australian dollar almost, it's actually not almost, it's actually going over the 1.1 to US dollar. Very, very strong at that time. And then you keep on looking at going back to about 2016. It dropped to a low Australian dollar, and then back in about just early back in 2020, that's when the COVID hits. That is the time that Australian dollar it's weaker. But in saying that, a lot of people might say, well, the ship has bolted. If I would have known, then I should actually bought more Australian dollars. Well, it's not like that. Whatever's past is past. You have to make peace with past so you can see your future. So what I see here is there is still, whatever that is with all these graphs, you will see every 10, 15 years sort of repeating. And that if you want to correlate Australian dollar, GDP, and also property medium price, is sometimes it goes into similar shape and then maybe a little bit delay in time, that's all. So my point I'm trying to still make is, as compared to back in about 2012 and 13, with Australian dollar so strong and very expensive, we still have opportunities. And imagining if people at that time would have known in hindsight for Australian dollars and then using the money to buy into property. So you're almost like, okay, it's cheaper to buy into property at that time because of the exchange rate, and then the property grows. So that's like a double dip scenario. So, well, but we don't have hindsight. We can only see foresight. Right. Now, I'm talking about domestic market here, irrespectively, because international flight hasn't resumed yet. So talking about domestic market here, we have experienced lately in 2021, a far growth into the job advertisement. That means the economy in recovery. Yes, there is still some uncertainty lying in the market at the moment that people are still talking about. But honestly, we've seen this many times. And throughout my time, even in the local property market of these 16, 17 years, the cycle that I could see is doesn't matter when. Whether the market is booming or on the robust time or the market is down, there's always going to be speculation on both sides of the story. But the graph is here and it's showing people that we are hiring. The people, the industries throughout different, obviously some are impacted more on COVID, some are not. Now, but in talking about the employment, so what is that impact onto property investment? So we all know property drivers, there's three main things. You've got population, you've got infrastructure, you've got employment. So with these three things, which doesn't matter which one comes first, or one will come after the other anyway. So when there is population, there's more employment, and when there's more employment, there's more opportunity for the jobs. People will move to a certain state for the job. And obviously, when the population started increasing, the government have to put in the infrastructure so that the cities in growing, that we can cater the number of people in growth. So that also push out the prices in the marketplace, because it's a very simple economy 101 that we all learn about demand and supply. But not all states are created equal here in terms of the changes or the number of people that are looking for jobs or not looking for a job opportunity. But you can see that highlighted here, that Queensland is probably one of the, well, definitely is one of the top, and then followed by Perth in Australia as well. Now let's go on to the next slide. A lot of people would have heard about interstate migration here in Australia. Now, what really demonstrates here is a big wake-up call. Now, you can see that across South Australia, WA, Tasmania, Northern Territory, and Canberra, there's small increments of increase or decrease. It's not a significance as to say to a state, let's say, and especially then break it down into housing need. But if you're looking at the number of interstate migration that New South Wales and Victoria is losing, you almost coincidentally add that number, it all sort of comes to Queensland. And if you have to say, this is the number of people, and if you have to say, the census in Australia has already shown, average household is about 2.4 people per household. So if you're looking at this number here, 6,750 people divided by 2.5, let's say divided by 2. And that means there is 3,500 minimum dwellings, brand new or maybe existing, that we have to have in Queensland alone to be able to service all this interstate migration. But did we actually have this supply in the past year? No, we don't. And the reason being is it's really across the board, because that in 2020, last year, because of the uncertainty, because of the lockdown, there's practically zero, no, there's probably about a handful of projects that are on board. And then, but did any of those go into construction? Maybe not much. So that means in the next 1 and 2 years, there's going to be people keep on coming to Queensland. And this is without international migration, without international student, without international border being open. Just ourselves, we are already absorbing whatever the housing that's already there on the market. So if I could tell you today that through COVID, yes, the rental return for a lot of investors could be a little bit painful time. But today, the rental market is so hot that my office is very busy because it's drying up. There's no more supply into the market for some gap. So that leaves the takeaway for us. Now, this is the myth. This slide here shows about a lot of people thinking Queensland is more laid back, and people straight away thinking, oh, that's for retirees. Now, this is a graph that shows from the previous slide that we have on the population interstate migrating from Sydney and Melbourne, and then by age group. If we can look at it here, that back in September 2019, so about 25 to 44 years old, that coming to Queensland. And then if you let's not rewind because the fast forward a bit, back in 2020 September, that number has increased. And the age gap, or let's say the age group that comes as a predominant number is age 24 to 44. So we are attracting young families, people that they're thinking about raising their family in a different lifestyle, because as what I can say here as well on the left-hand side, the education is critical for this age group. And then also because the same income that you're getting in Sydney and Melbourne, and then the cost of living, and then and the cost of living and the housing, and then compared to Brisbane or let's say Queensland, the housing is probably half the cost in Sydney. So that allows the lifestyle opportunities for a lot of families here. Now, then, well, at the moment, a lot of people that are local here will keep on saying we're all very busy servicing a lot of first home buyers. People are thinking, and that's what I mentioned before, doesn't matter when in the market, there will be people speculating on both sides of the spectrum. Now people will say, oh yeah, the market is great, it's booming right now because of all first home buyers. Well, if you look at this graph here, and this is basically on new loan, and not including refinancing, the new loan commitment that are into the bank. And you can see the purple line here is owner occupier, and then you will see the investors drop down through the COVID time. It's all coming back. Investors will not sit on the sideline in 2021. In fact, they all know the sky has a line. We have never experienced an interest rate this low. And when the rental return is so high, you almost are neutral gear, if not then positive cash flow. Okay, now everyone will want to have this slide because it's like where do we go? It's state by state in terms of pricing forecast. And if we may look at the right hand side of the graph, the Brisbane, we are looking at a double-digit growth alone in 2021 and another double-digit growth in 2022. And Perth is not far behind from Brisbane as well. But as compared to other cities, these two cities is really to watch out for because you still have a really good pricing point to go in. So if you look at my bullet point on left-hand side here, it says the starting price will impact on how far this market can run. And this is why people are coming to Brisbane or Gold Coast. So if you have to say these two states, in average price alone, Gold Coast is even cheaper than Brisbane. So there is more room to growth and longer run on the market. Now the land supply and population growth will be a greater impact. Now the lack of new project, as I mentioned, due to the pandemic, and then the undersupply is the catalyst for strong capital growth in the short term. So Australian market, whenever I do a presentation overseas, I always have to remember and have to remind a lot of the investors, Australian market is the medium to long term. It's never a get rich short term scheme. But when you have a market like this right now, this could be the opportunity that we will experience the highest growth in the next 2 years in this current state. Okay, so to wrap up for this section here, the 6 takeaway points. So a V-shaped recovery does appear to be real, as we can see on multiple graphs here. And the advanced economy are forecast to experience their strongest growth in the over decade. Queensland leads the way in job advertisement. Queensland also leads the way in interstate migration. Queensland remains more affordable than any other capital cities. An investor will return to the market at the end, if not earlier, of this year. Right, so then goes on to my second part of the presentation, where I like to draw everyone's attention from Queensland, from Australia as a whole to Queensland, now to Gold Coast. And this is where the project that I would really like to recommend, and I will go through in a more interesting way rather than just the graph. This is the time that we're going to enjoy a lot more beautiful photos. So what is on the Gold Coast? So I'm here, I've just put all these pictures together as a collage of all these pictures. So you can see a beautiful, wonderful beach, SeaWorld. So Gold Coast is renowned for a theme park as well. That's why it's like an international tourism spot. And then you also have shopping centers, you've got Marina Mirage, the list just goes on. And obviously education is very important as well, because Gold Coast is one of the major city growth plan is to build up Gold Coast, not only internationally renowned for tourism, but also is another education city apart from Melbourne in Australia. All right, so here I'm thinking, you know, just showing some beautiful photo probably is not going to do the justice. So here is some actual facts and data about why Gold Coast. So I'm going to go through some major ones. So you can see here, we've talked about population, infrastructure, employment. So here it says by 2036, the population is set to go double. It seems like quite far away. But when I had the first data on this number, it was about, because the government does the planning about 20 years or so, sometimes even longer than that. But in saying that we are already 2021 with the blink of eyes. Now, this is also a city that are younger people as well, that people got it so wrong, always thinking that's for retirees. Not true. You can see here 21% are couples and singles and under the age of 35. Now, I like to also draw a lot of attention here to the 14.7% rental demand increase for the houses and apartments as well. And then we'll move on to the project itself. So I'm going to show a location map of the project. The project itself is called Imperial Square. This development is the mixed use. One of my big passion for projects like this is because it's mixed use. So you either, because what you see is you've got 3 stages and then of apartments, and then and then downstairs is 40,000 square meter of retail shops. 40,000 is quite a big shopping center with a good scale underneath here. And it's also worth to mention that within this development itself, not only there are apartments, there's going to be hotel rooms, and then there's also retail and commercial components. It actually occupied the whole island of a site. Now, just to be even more precise, what we're looking at today is Regal Residence, is stage 1. And then and then stage 2 is actually Imperial Tower. It's 108 levels. And then the last stage we'll be launching in this project is Monarch Place. And then this is, as what I mentioned, it's a landmark development, combining residential, commercial, and retail with a lot of open green spaces. So you can imagining about wealth, about all this focus is going to be in this proximity of this development here. Now, right this moment, I think what I like to do is introduce a video for everyone. So I'm just gonna stop sharing for now. And then we could have a video that is not too long. And this is coming from our local news. I'm just gonna share this, and that will talk a little bit about this project and why does it mean, what does it mean about a landmark development?
Southport could soon steal surface thunder as the home of Australia's tallest tower. The Majesty is a planned 180-storey skyscraper, and with construction starting later this year, it's coming for Q1's title.
From the ground, the sky's the limit.
There's only one way, and that's really up.
This, without a doubt, is probably the boldest and the most exciting project to come out of the ground.
Welcome the Majesty, the 108-storey centrepiece of Southport's Imperial Square development.
From ground to the top floor is 335 metres.
Australia's current tallest building, Q1 in Surfers Paradise, stands 322 metres tall. That's 2 metres shorter than the Eiffel Tower, both eclipsed by the Majesty at 335 metres, although even that's still a while off the world's tallest building, the 828-metre tall Burj Khalifa in Dubai. The Southport skyscraper will be the third building out of 4, including a hotel, residential apartments and a shopping complex. Its estimated construction will create 3,000 jobs during construction and 2,600 full-time jobs once complete. Construction on the first 18-storey stage of Imperial Square will start in October this year. It could be some years before we see the 335-metre tallest building in Australia built. The developers say that will depend on the success of the first 2 stages.
Between 5 and 10 years.
Josh Bristow, 9 Gold Coast News.
All right, so that should give everyone a not much, but then a different perspective, because that is from the news. And it has been a project that everyone is looking at, everyone's talking about as well. All right, so let's continue on about the location. So location is very important. Now, what I've done here is we looking at this area is called Southport. So within Gold Coast, this suburb is called Southport. So I've done a very simple map here. So every circle is about 500 meters. So this is a map for within 2 kilometers. Now, we've got world-class education. So Griffith University, it's only about 2 stations away. So you can see on the map here, the little station here in that, like a train. So it's a light rail. There's only 2 stations away, which I'm going to show you a map soon, another sort of a route map soon. And then from the development itself, if you there's like 2 minutes drive to a international boys' school called the Southport School. On the other hand, it's also about 2 minutes drive to St. Hilda's School. It's an international girls' school. You're also very, very close, probably about also 2 minutes drive to TAFE, Queensland. And if you're not sort of fancy about international school, the local school is also very well serviced here. You've got both Southport State and Southport State High School, all in the proximity of that 2 kilometers. Now, health services, we have the largest hospital on the Gold Coast called Gold Coast University Hospital. You also have Gold Coast Private Hospital and then 2 other private hospitals. Now, for our international viewers, there is only one Versace hotel in Australia, and it's right here on Southport. We also have Sheraton Hotel, the SeaWorld, which is a theme park that are international renowned. It's also just over, it's about 2 kilometers away from our development. And then talking about retail and amenities, you've got Chinatown, Australia Fair Shopping Mall. You've got a new, not so new anymore, but it's about 3 years, Ferry Road Market, and also one of my favorite, Marina Mirage. Lifestyle and amenities, you are very, very close, probably about 10 minutes drive, probably less, onto the Broadwater Parkland, and that's where the Commonwealth Games Official Aquatic Centre is. You also have the Southport Yacht Club, and you've got the Queen's Tennis Centre as well. Now the list just goes on and on. But in this, because of the time, we will share more in detail if people have interest to know about the location even more. Now, then I found it down to even more numbers here about when we talk about the population, I did mention about the infrastructure coming in as well. So why Southport? So the first thing you see here is a 5 billion. What, the 5 billion? It's a lot of money. What's that for? It's for infrastructure for a precinct that we call it the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct. Now, this is one of the Asia Pacific's emerging 200-hectare health innovation hub. This is only 2 train stations away, right next to its Griffith University as well. So that I will show, the next slide will go in more details. Now, just surrounding Southport, this suburb alone, there's about $922 million worth of new project happening within Southport. If I can refer you to the right-hand side of the graph as well, $3 billion investment into Gold Coast Light Rail extension. So the next slide is going to show you the light rail map. And whatever you see on the next slide, it's only stage 1 of the light rail. Stage 2 extension is going from Broad Beach all the way to Coolangatta Airport. So Coolangatta Airport will be it's an international airport. So you are able to fly into Gold Coast and then hop onto a light rail and then goes along the beach in each of the stop, and then you will get to your footstep into your development here. And you can also see here 2.7 billion are invested into the Gold Coast Central for over 90 infrastructure projects. So the list just goes on. Now, I did mention about the school. So on the right-hand side, you could see some pictures of the Prestige School. And then on the left-hand side, all these fine writings is about this Gold Coast Health Precinct that I mentioned about. So if we're talking about employment alone, not only Southport as a suburb, it's actually the CBD, Central Business District of Gold Coast. Not only that, in 2 stations away, you actually have this precinct that it's currently employed over 10,000 people, and it's already including 1,000 researchers, and then you've got catering 20,000 students. So this is not a game changer, but everything is changing in this city to be better and bigger. All right, I did promise about the location here. This is the light rail map. So if I could refer everyone to the right-hand side of the map where it says Southport Ferry Road. Now the light rail station here is called Narain Street. And then you go to your left, you will see the next station is Queen Street, and the next station is Griffith University. And then another station away is Gold Coast University Hospital. So that whole part of 200 hectares is what I'm just talked about, is the health precinct. Right, and then all this light rail take you to Helensville, where you can connect into a bigger train, and that goes straight into Brisbane. Now let's talk about the first stage itself. So the 3 stages of the development. The first stage is called Regal Residence. Now it's worth to mention here that you could see the gold-looking windows. So all these 5 levels on the top here are hotel rooms. So this project alone, apart from just being 3 stages with the mixed use and retail downstairs, just this building in stage 1 already have 200 hotel rooms on the top level. And then you've got like premium apartments, which is the blue color. Those are the lovely apartments that we have. And then we've got rooftop facilities looking into the Broadwater and then into the sky and also the sea, the ocean. All right, now this is the ground level. So you come into the foyer and you go into the lobby. You've got function rooms and you've got outdoor area as well. And just to give you an idea, so this is where the lobby will be. And you also see the bar here. And I'm going to come back to this at the end of this presentation to talk about a special service that they're providing, that we were providing in this project as well. It's a very special project that it's not a big density. We're talking about only about circa 140 apartments in here. And then you've got 200 hotel rooms on the top. So it's not an overly huge development, but we're putting a lot of 5-star hotel concierge service into this building here. This is a residence lounge on the rooftop. It's for the residents to use. And then we also have here, show you very simple. You've got on the rooftop, you have, apart from the penthouses on the left-hand side, you've got a infinity pool that looking into the hinterland. The hinterland, the Broadwater, and then you also have steam room, sauna room, you've got gym, you've got a rooftop terrace, and you see the residence lounge that I've already shown you before. Now, just to give you an idea what that Broadwater views is like, you can see the horizon. And this is the beautiful thing about Gold Coast. People always ask, I want the views, and then I want to make sure there's nothing going to block me. But if you see this, one thing that worth to mention is in this location and the street next to us, and any of the housing beyond that street, it's all zoning for less density. So basically, they're residential zoning for just 2-level houses. So in a way, the views are protected. But even in saying that, look at this whole skyline. We can even see Surfers Paradise from here. But if you have to say there's so many skyscrapers right there, but are they all blocking each other's view? Not necessarily. So if you look aside, there's actually absolutely beautiful views for everyone and every resident in this building. Now this is the sky roof as well, the rooftop as well, and this is the next to residence lounge. These are all these sitting areas which I found really good now, that people enjoy a lot. People now, when we do any research, anyone we talk to that wants to live in the building, they wanted to have the facilities. They don't mind paying for the body corporate to upkeep, but people prefer spending time doing what they like to do rather than just cleaning the garden and things like that. So facilities are probably one of the top on the list as well for what people want. Obviously, with the greater facilities, that if you are an investor, they're going to help you. So why is the people that are renting in this building and then from your apartments compared to next door neighbor or next building? And a lot of the times, because the owner pays for the facilities, but then the tenant doesn't. So that's why they choose this over the other. Right. This is a very simple floor plate of what every level is looking like. So there are 5 lifts servicing only this amount of apartments, and every apartment are designed to be optimize your space. And also how to use the space. It's no wasted space at all. Now I'm just gonna go through 3 floor plans that are simple today. Now this particular floor plan here is 67 square meter. So 67 square meters is a 1-bedroom. It's very roomy. If I have to say 67 square meter, you can actually find project at like 67 square meter in Melbourne, probably in CBD, or probably in South Bank in Melbourne. 67 square meter will be a 2-bedroom, a small 2-bedroom for you. So this is a 1-bedroom, very roomy, and it's 415,000 with a car park. Now, if I could move on to the next recommendation. So this is a 2-bedroom apartment. So let's look at the size here. It's 95 square meters. The balcony itself is 13. So in Australia, and especially in Queensland, outdoor living, al fresco dining is definitely the goal. So a very functional and roomy balcony is what people go for as well. Look at the size of the rooms here. You can actually put a sofa, 1-seater sofa in the bedroom. So this is a 95 square meter, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with 1 car. And the price here is Australian dollar 555,000. Now, as comparison though, 555,000 in Brisbane CBD is a 1-bedroom, may or may not even have a car park. So that's why, and let alone to mention 500,000 circa in Sydney CBD, you cannot find anything. So it's not hard to understand why interstate migration, and even if they don't migrate here, because the data we just show is interstate migration of people that are moving in here. But then it didn't actually show people that didn't move here, but then they invested here yet. That's a lot of people. And it's not half of them. They basically, with the home equity they've grown, they borrow the money and they put down a deposit. For them, it's going to be a holiday home. And then maybe relocate in the future. So it's very simple idea. Now, if you fancy a 3-bedroom, for a holiday, or let's say to live in, look at the space here. It's 122 square meter, and basically you open up to east and west wing for the bedrooms, and then all the entertainment area, and the kitchen's open kitchen in the middle. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a 3-bedroom at level 6. looking into the water. So remember the view line that we show on the infinity pool. So that's exactly facing the same. And 3-bedroom is 775,000. Now this price in Brisbane is a 2-bedroom apartment. This price in Sydney is probably a 1-bedroom, or maybe at best is probably a 2-bedroom townhouse, quite old in the suburban area. All right. Now let's look at some of the images here. So this is that particular 3-bedroom that I like to show. This is the artist's impression if you're looking from the living room outside. And you can see the skyline, you can see the water, you can see even the canal before you even see the ocean. So it's absolutely beautiful. This is from one of the bedroom of the 3-bedroom apartment. You see the floor to ceiling window. So there's the sunlight coming in, so it's absolutely very nice. Now there's 2 color choices here to make it very simple. It's all being designed by interior designer. So everything is, so this is a light color scheme, and then this is obviously a darker color scheme. Which doesn't matter which one, it's still a very bright mix of colors. Same to the bathroom as well. This is obviously a light color scheme, and this is a darker color scheme. Now, if I could draw your attention to the tiles in the bathroom, the amount of the project that we have seen, that's why I'm laughing to myself. So a lot of the developers or builders, they will probably cut corners a little bit. They will do floor to ceiling tiles in the bath area, which is shower. And then throughout the bathroom, they might do just not floor to ceiling, they will do floor to your waistline to tiles. Now you look at these as all floor to ceiling tiles. And then it's worth mentioning also on the honeycomb tile. I know that this may not be a big thing for other people, but for me, because some project will ask and say, and arguably saying this is an upgrade if you want the honeycomb. So, but in this project is all standard. Now, this is giving you an idea about level 16, the kind of the view that you will get on the water side, which is eastern facing. And then people are saying, okay, but how about hinterland? Look at the hinterland, it's still very, very nice as well. And imagining, honestly, at nighttime, the hero shot should be at nighttime, because not only daytime you see this beautiful mountain and all the hinterland, at nighttime the lights lit up and it's absolutely beautiful as well. Now, I did mention about this that I will cover. We all know that in apartment living or condominium living, you've got residence lounge, you've got, you know, like a clubhouse and things like that. So it's what we call in Australia facilities. So I've shown you about the ground floor, I've shown you about the rooftop. Now we all know that as a resident, as an owner, as a people that live there, you can use these facilities because that's part of what your body corporate will be paying for anyway. But on and beyond that, remember we have retail component downstairs when the 3 stages are all completed. And then plus this Regal residence itself upstairs is its hotel. So what we are doing here is we're offering all the residents or all the purchaser an exclusive Imperial Club. And if we read all this fine print down there, not only you get your birthday and then you get your discounted to all the restaurants, bars in the hotel, you enjoy a 15% discount to the spa, you have valet parking. Probably for our international viewer, mostly importantly is the complimentary stay. So if you're an investor, you put this in the investment pool, the rental is going to go over the roof, right? And not only that, in each of the 1 year, so for 5 years, you get 1 week to stay here for free. So imagine you can bring kids over and then you can have a holiday destination. Why not? Obviously, the list goes on. So entertainment, you've got discount to all the theme park. You also have a 1-person first year discount to the yacht club. So mind you, a lot of these prestige areas, and we all know from Asian backgrounds, especially like golf and yacht club, marina club, all these sometimes are endorsed by members, but we are using this as an exclusive club to incorporate people that live in this building or own the apartment here. And not only that, because of throughout COVID, we understand security, we understand the importance of delivery and all these parcel drop off. So we have actually incorporated a very smart tech home, so that you can actually access the property through your phone. For mom and dad that are looking at kids coming to study, not so sure about who's coming in and out of house, you'll be able to see when the access record as well on this phone. And the list just goes on about what can be done is throughout this platform here. So it's really future-proofing the building as well. Imagine this is what you see today, but then in another 5 years' time, this may become the norm. And then, but if you don't have it today, then this building is outdated in 5 years' time. So this really is future-proofing your investment and what is important internationally in global status as well. All right, at last, I think I need to introduce the developer. So developer is Azura. So Azura have a long history in local market here as well, and their skill set and their portfolios is throughout in Queensland here. So they're into resorts, residential developments, and they have commercial shopping centers. And one of their very famous project are Wings Residential Resort and Day Spa. You also have Azura Green, a residential as well, and also Azura Surfers Paradise Resort. So building resort and hotel combined together with luxury apartment, it's not a surprise or not a new project for them. We're talking about a well-renowned developer here locally, and then have the experience of delivering this kind of product with another level notch up through the technology and through the tallest building and the mixed use of development here. Now, I was told that to wrap up the presentation, I should talk a little bit and to make sure that everyone gets really excited. Now, for overseas investors, the deposit is only 20% of the contract price. And basically, throughout the construction period, there's zero payments needed. Anticipated settlement for Regal residents is 2023, second quarter. It's about 2 years away. So imagining our investor can put 20% down. So see the 500,000 each, let's say mid 500 for a 2-bedroom apartment here. 20% is about 100,000 to 150,000 Australian dollars. Now Australian dollars is not probably the lowest point, but then it's definitely not the highest point. And then there's nothing to pay during the construction. So basically they are locking today's price, knowing that in the next 2 years, the market is going double digit, 10% per year if that was the forecast, another 10% in 2022. That's 20% growth. It's a no-brainer. Now, the buyer special here for limited time only, just for people that are thinking, I need some assurance about the rental income so I can forecast my cash flow today, it's understandable. So we are offering 12 months rental guarantee at 5% of your contract price. We are also for limited time only with providing a FIRB fee. So a lot of people understand this is called the Foreign Investment Review Bureau. For any overseas investors that are buying any property into Australia, has to be brand new and also have to be lodged to the government. The government actually charge a fee. So this is a fee that will be reimbursed as settlement. We're also going to throw in a free blind package so that all the apartments going to look very all the same. So we can keep the outside of the apartment looking really well, and then also free legal fee. Now that wrap up my presentation today, and so we could probably go into a Q&A session here. So let me just stop sharing, and then we could go into a Q&A session. Hey, Lily.
Sorry, I forgot unmute again. Yeah,
it's okay.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Yeah, I'm too excited, you know. Every time I listen to your presentations, right, you saw me again and again. I still remember the first time, I think this is the second time I attend your public presentations. I mean, in private training, of course, we go through many times. The first time, right, you saw me Bowen Hill. Because I was first week in my job, in my career, and then Nicole go through so detailed, like sometimes, right, you feel, right, when she describes, right, you are actually on the spot, right, you see the property. Actually, she just described it. I still remember the flood you mentioned, you know, you still remember Queensland flood just passed and just finished at that time. So anyway, she saw me Bowen Hill in 2011, okay, because I attend her seminar. which I still hold until today. So I'm so grateful I have that. I bought one of the top floor. It's not a penthouse, but I bought the top floor. So that's it. That's why I have to bite my tongue.
It's gonna do really well in these 2 years. I honestly, like, the recent market has just gone. Every project we launch, it just went out of the door. And I honestly, not just myself, I've spoken to a lot of people and developers in our industry, people that probably have been in industry for more than 25 years. They have told me they have never seen a market currently like this. So if this is only the investment you're going to do, and if this is the only consideration, now is the time. I know that I said that we were always, people like me, I always think there's never going to be a best time. You just got to go and do it. But then with all the data and things like that, really, honestly, this is a great time for us, a great time for all the investors.
Okay. I think at least you sold me tonight.
I'll send you what's available. I'll DM you now.
Yeah. So Nicole, with all the points that you mentioned so far, right? Let's say if you just want to sum up with a few selling points, right? What will be the key selling point you aim this? I mean, the whole projects or events like Gold Coast.
Yeah, I think generally a lot of people might answer this question, and this is gonna sound really funny. A lot of people answer this question like Kung Fu Tai Chi, they will say something, you kind of thinking, oh yeah, I got it, but then you walk away thinking, so exactly what was that? So I'm gonna be so precise to the point that let's use per square meter rate. And I'm going to do that first, and then we'll go on to other more not fluffy, but truths. So the per square meter rate in this project, because they are stage developments, and as you can see, the second stage is actually the tallest building in Southern Hemisphere in terms of zoning. And then the last stage is the twister. So there's only about 2 other buildings in the world looking like this. So it's quite expensive to build, because every balcony, every unit is about a few centimeters to the left. So it's sort of twisting. So in terms of construction itself, people in our industry already understand to build this building will be more expensive than building a building like what we're talking about today, because they're all straight and squared. So what they really already mean, irrespectively of the time they needed to design and to build a product because of the CPI increase. Irrespective of that, even today I already know the second stage is going to be more expensive. The last stage is going to be even more expensive, just on the building, the structure of the building and the complexity of it. So if we will compare to this current building per square meter rate to what's been selling on the Gold Coast and other suburbs, we are probably, I can't say half the price, probably not half the price, but other locations are doing about 8,000 per square meter, but this building at the moment at Regal Residence, 6,000 per square meter. Wow. Really, 6,000 per square meter is probably, for me, it's probably a seminar that I'll be doing back in 2008. Wow. Because 2008, in Brisbane, my second project, we had 1-bedroom apartment, still have a 2 in front of it. 285, sold out day 1.
Wow. I think even my thumbs already in 2011, right, when I bought that in Bowen Hill, already 8,000, close to 9,000 per square meter.
Yeah, so the whole secret behind this is the developer, Azura, the developer owned this block of land for 17 years, 17. So for him, he bought the site so long ago, so he can afford to almost give out of the door. So we all know in our game, just going to really into even more depth, building 1 box of apartment, we know the cost.
Yeah.
And then when you divide it by the size of what they're trying to do, they're not really making their money unless he hold the land for a long time.
Yeah.
But then in saying that, the market is going to grow. The construction itself, even today, knowing that how the structure of it's going to be more expensive. And then plus the market is going to grow. So guess what? The price will elevate anyway. So what I'm trying to say, number 1, per square meter rate, to be that precise, you can't find a project like this that are brand new. that has, and then I was going to all the fluffy things, that has the mixed use downstairs. It's like you can live there, and then you've got and then the location. The location itself, you've got all the best private school within 5-minute drive. So for a lot of international clients here, whether you're looking at relocating, you know how you, in the beginning, Lily, you were introducing IQI. The one of the ethos is to bring and empowering international investors to be a global citizen. So if they wanted to relocate to Australia, or the kids want to come to study, it could be an investment first. And then it's not something that you know, it's sometimes we look at project and then we have a summary goes, oh, this one is for investment only lah. Like I'm not gonna live there myself. But this is not the truth this is not gonna be the kind of case for this particular project. You can visualize people living in there and then enjoy the whole concierge service. And then people that comes in here, and if they don't know Brisbane, the Gold Coast well, they can go downstairs and shop. They might be one of the reasons why they will buy. And then later on to mention, let's say in this location in Southport, there's no hotel, zero. All we have at the moment are service apartments. So this is going to be the one and only hotel at this moment in time. So when the international travel resumes, guess where the whole big box will come? And then that will drive the retail downstairs. So imagining all these, I just think that everything is aligned. And then even for our WA Perth investors as well, if you are local and you're able to enjoy the local PR interest rate, it's a no-brainer. You can refinance, and then you don't even have to take out your cash right now. And then you can refinance your equity and you put in here. Local PR is only 10% deposit. Interest rate, I've never seen this low.
When you mentioned about the 2-bedroom already, like, I mean, when you mentioned 2-bedroom 555, I already quite shocked, you know, because I remember, right, that was 1-bedroom prices, you know, for the top floor, our towns. Yeah, so yeah, very good prices. And the size, right, for 1-bedroom, I'm also quite shocked. It's quite big.
Yes, very.
Yeah. And come with car park. That is, you know, you still remember some of the project, they're selling the car park 30,000 up to 50,000 per car park. Yeah, that's why I'm quite impressed. And because all units come with a car parks, right?
Some of the unit that doesn't, but then the ones that are with no car park are 350 to 380,000. They're almost sold out.
Yeah, and to be honest, right, in that locations, right, even you don't have the car park, I don't see it's a problem because it's so convenient.
It's not, because you're gonna have shopping center downstairs and you've got light rail as well.
Yeah,
so it's not a big problem. But I think the great thing is the ones that are without the car park almost sold out anyway. But I think in Australia live, right, if money is not a matter, it's only 20,000-30,000 extra for that car park. It's worthwhile to get a car park.
True, especially in Gold Coast.
You can drive around. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if there is any questions. You see, as I expect, there is no questions because you're going so detailed.
So detailed.
Okay, so we almost come to 9 o'clock already. So if there is no further questions, right? Once again, thank you everyone for joining us, for tuning in tonight. And in case you have questions, right, please feel free still continue to you can either, you know, put your questions in the comment sections, or you can private message us, or you can send us email sales@iqiwa.com.au. We will pass the questions back to Nicole, or you can call our phone number, which I always forgot.
I can see you looking at it now.
I can never forget remember my phone number. So +61 8 for the state and 9240-8854. And the number is +61 for Australia, and then 8 for WA, 9240-8854. So thank you, everyone. It's our pleasure to have you, Nicole. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to have more, because I think there is one in Brisbane. We can't wait, you know, maybe, you know, in the next few weeks, if possible. Maybe you can have another one with the Brisbane one.
Yeah, we will.
We will. Okay. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.